What's the worst thing you've accidentally shared with your friends and family? Not me, but my mom. When she first got onto Facebook, she went to upload a profile picture. She brought up the folder, was scrolling through, found something weird and double clicked it to make it bigger and see what it was. Instead of making it bigger, it just immediately uploaded to Facebook. It was a picture of my dad's D. She went into panic mode and couldn't figure out how to delete it for a few minutes. She has no idea if anyone saw, and has never told my dad it happened. I'm almost 30, but not fully settled anywhere yet. So a lot of my belongings are at my dad and stepmom's house, which I still consider my permanent address. My closet in my old room needed organizing, which I guess my dad took it upon himself to do. Last time I was home, I saw that he had hammered a couple of hooks into the inside wall of my closet and hung up 3 things: a baseball hat, an umbrella, and a royal blue, silver studded, velvet paddle that I liked an ex-boyfriend to spank me with. There's no way my dad didn't know what it was. I think he hung it up to quietly embarrass me. It worked. Mortifying. Wheat brownies. My parents were going out of town for the weekend. I baked them Friday night and was going in to share with friends Saturday. Well, plans changed. We ended up going up north for a few days for my friend's cabin. I completely forgot about them. My parents got home Sunday night. I didn't get home until Wednesday. Turned out my mom had 1 but my dad had 3. They tripped balls all night. My mom was pissed. My dad later asked me for the recipe. Haha. Horny girlfriend and I in high school used my family computer to film us having sex. Starting cleaning up and forgot about it. A day or so later I brought it up, so we rushed to delete the video and it had already been deleted. Someone in my family saw me D'ing my now wife. It's one of those things that keep you up at night. When I was a teenager, I wanted to see naked pictures of girls my age. My mom worked at the police department and had some friends from work over who looked at my browsing history. I found out that day why that wasn't a good thing to be searching for on the internet. My mom once shared a link to a midget porn site on Facebook with a post of just "oh yes." Finally can share this shameful act. When I was 16, my room was in the open basement of my parents' home. Just walk down the stairs, make a left, and my bed would be directly in front of you. At the time I was regularly having sex with my girlfriend, and for the most part we kept things under the sheets to avoid a walk-in being totally obvious. So one day no one's home and we get started on top of the sheets. We're both completely naked and she's on top of me with her ass and my D and balls facing the only way into my room. She's bent forward, ass spread, with my hands grabbing at everything, graphically being shown to any unfortunate family member who walks in. Well, unfortunately my poor mother got home quietly and we didn't hear her. She came downstairs so quiet that I barely heard anything. I was so focused on what I was doing that I just barely caught something out of the corner of my eye and it was gone. We kept going, finished, and eventually got dressed. When we went to leave, my mother was in the kitchen making dinner and she couldn't make eye contact with either of us. At the time we didn't know what had happened and were in great after 6 moods. I quickly figured out what I had seen out of the corner of my eye and felt terrible for what my mother had seen. She got basically the most disgusting view she could have ever got and wasn't herself with us for 2 weeks. After that she announced her presence loudly multiple times, making sure she got a response before turning the corner. I cannot imagine the horror that must have caused her. It's basically something we never want to see or think about, and to this day I feel terrible about it. Texting my grandfather I wanted to tie him up and force my D in her throat. Was meant for GF. We were 16. I said, "What are you talking about?" And then sent him weirded for a week before saying my phone was hacked and got a new number. It worked. In high school I sent a mass text telling friends and family Happy Valentine's Day. My now husband, good friend at the time, didn't realize it was a mass text and replied Happy Valentine's Day. 6E mama with a D pic attached. Just being funny like usual. My grandpa, uncle, and aunt didn't find it as funny at the time. Haha. Had a monster purple dildo that I kept under my bed in college. One of my guy friends came over and he dropped some food on the floor in my room. He saw the huge thing under my bed and instantly got red. I knew exactly what had happened, so I pretended to clean under the bed and threw my head back at the sight of it. Oh, hahaha. Wanna see something funny? Sure. So, I went to a bachelorette party a while back and they gave out free dildos. And my friends gave me this huge thing. He totally bought it. I accidentally left a condom wrapper in the backseat of my car when I was about 17 or 18 and my sister, who was 13 at the time, found it. She never wanted to sit in the back of that car after that. I accidentally emailed my now father-in-law a picture of my D. One of my cousins knows I cross-dress and that I like guys. He knows because he made a fake AIM in middle school and pretended to be a guy to see if was gay. Mission accomplished. Not me, but one of my best friends. He meant to send a video to this guy he had been seeing for a bit. A video of him jerking off. Instead of this guy, he sent it to our group chat planning Christmas. A white Christmas for all, they say. Horny high school me was sexting this other girl. Fell asleep with the texts and pics open on my iPad in my hand. Next morning my mom walks in and sees the whole thing. She takes my iPad and reads it all. My family constantly jokes about me having a sex dungeon somewhere and chains in my closet. So eventually I kind of assumed they knew I was super kinky. I was wrong. Edit. Not that interesting of a story. TBH. Was talking to my teenage brother about relationships. He said something about people who were into BDSM being screwed up and abusive. My response basically boiled down to no, I'm not. I respect my partners and that's a huge part of the culture. To which he flipped the duck out and wouldn't talk to me for a week. Another minor instance where a side comment got me horrified looks from other family members got the point across. Just for your information, I'm a female sadist, not a male sub. He. Nudes of my wife on Facebook by accident. When I was 21 my dad passed away and I moved back to my hometown from across the country. I was temporarily staying with my cousin who was a cell phone salesman at the time. I got rid of my cell phone from the carrier on the other side of the country and was waiting on my first paycheck to get a new one. So he let me borrow his one night so I could talk to a girl I was rekindling a thing with. I talk to her and she wants me to send her a pic of my cock. I step into the bathroom and take a quick unoriginal pic of my junk, facing down at the floor and send it off. Next day my cousin comes home from work early. A customer was interested in the same phone he had, so he let her mess with his for a minute. Sure enough, she happens to somehow get into the sent folder and see my D pic and make some comments to my cousin about having a cock on his phone. Manager hears it and send him home early after almost firing him. The whole family knows about it now and it's brought up at every Thanksgiving dinner. Got invited to have a threesome with a co-worker and his wife. Wrote a very long text turning it down along with my reasons why and then sent it to the wrong co-worker. Instant embarrassment. It wasn't the first time he had asked for a threesome. Hence the text. My friends and I have a group chat where we like to freestyle terribly, with 4th grade level rhyme schemes and themes that straddle homoerotic. We rap back and forth, and had a perfect line about sucking my asshole, and sent it to my group family chat instead. It was fire though, so not so bad in the end. Was sending a D pic to a girl, but accidentally sent it to my friend whose name was next. Edit. Friend was a guy. TL. DR fell asleep masturbating and shared my D with my mom. I was working 2 different jobs as a teenager. One night job and one day job and was super tired one morning coming back from my shift. I always jerked off before sleep so I did my business then fell asleep in my room. Mom came in a little while later to wake me for some breakfast and saw me with my hand around my D and cum all over myself. Apparently I was so tired I came and then fell asleep without cleaning up. There's a tad bit more to the story but it's already long anyways. Edit. I woke up a little while later, realized that what happened and showered. When I came downstairs I said hi to my mom and she blushed and didn't respond. I come from a highly conservative religion so this and sex is a hugely taboo topic. So it took quite a while to get it out of her. When she finally told me what happened, I had to cover myself so I explained that men sometimes jerk off in their sleep. She bought it. I once told a Catholic priest, during confession, that I masturbate. Did not go over well. The night before I had broken off a FWB thing. I wrote out the message in a notes app and then copy pasted it across to Messenger so I could edit it without accidentally pressing send. Make sure I was saying everything I wanted to in the right tone etc. It included some graphic compliments about his skills at giving head and how I was going to miss that. Next day I'm messing about on my phone and find a link I want to share with my group chat of old school friends. I go to copy and paste and accidentally paste the breakup text instead, and my fat fingers somehow press send before I can do anything. I followed it up with a slew of very sweary messages begging my friends not to read that they promised not to, but I kinda wonder if some of them sneaked a peek and know of my messy slag-out ways. I saw my roommate's D by accident once. See, I was staying over before we moved in together, and he tosses and turns lit. So he shifted in his sleep I guess, and when I got up to go to the bathroom, I looked over at the opposite couch and there it was. I joked with him about it the next morning. His family lived in a small house. His parents weren't as far away as I thought. Edit, explaining it better. I accidentally let slip through an internet posting on the cartoon website, Gaia Online, that then posted itself on my Facebook page that I was going on a date with a 49-year-old woman, roughly 27 years older than me, and both my parents. My parents still don't let me live it down. I cuss really bad around my friends but not at all around my parents' grandparents. I live on my own now, but I went to visit the fam for a baseball game and I missed a foul ball catch opportunity whilst I was chugging some Gatorade. Instant reaction from me was, well son of a bitch, that ducker should have been mine. My grandma looked at me like I was mental. Drunk texted my cousin how much I wanted to duck her. Immediately regretted it. Flu. I passed it on to my granddad and he died of it a couple of weeks later. He was 96 and it was going around, so he'd have probably caught it elsewhere if he hadn't got it from me. But I still feel terrible about it 20 years later. Told my super Christian mom about my abortion. Oops. I'm a bad liar and she confronted me. My horrible effort at lying was all she needed to confirm the truth. Friend walked in during college and I showed him my World of Warcraft character. Alt plus tab to go to the WoW armory and I forgot I had minimized some digital porn. I'm not sure if this counts as friends and family, but I was in a group project in college and we had a group text going. Then one night I went to text my friend about how drunk I was, complain about my family, and say how I was attracted to someone twice my age, but sent it to the group chat instead. None of them ever mentioned it, but I felt awkward around them for the whole rest of the semester. I very recently left my long time, so my family absolutely love. My mom got lunch with her yesterday. I was showing my mom a picture of a dog and got a Tinder nude while she was looking at it. Me and my friends had a group on Skype that my friend named Small D Crew. Anyways, I was with my dad one day dropping off something to my sister and I said I'd go inside and do it, left my phone in the car. Came back, my dad tells me, you got a phone call. Me, who was it? I don't know, it said Small D Crew. I wanted to die. Another story of mine. My mother's always been very tidy, so often she'd enter my childhood bedroom and straighten up my mess. One day, when I was in 8th grade, I was sitting at the counter working on an essay when from nowhere I hear my mother start to sob and yell my name. I turned my head to see my mom rushing down the stairs with death in her eyes diluted by tears as she clutched a little slice of paper. Swazniak. What the duck is this? I don't know. Paper? Do be a smartass with me. I found this on your desk. Now I'm low-key scared because I have no idea what she's found and I have years of it on my desk, so I grab the paper and turn it over. I almost ducking choked. Scribbles in my 5th grade handwriting was something along the lines of, one day I want to have 6. That was it. Nothing explicit. Nothing provocative. Literally a scribble from 5th grade that I probably wrote after health class. I had to explain to her that this probably wasn't too big of a deal and that I wasn't an 8th grade 6 fiend. I love my mom, but she can be a bit much at times. She's mellowed out a bit since I've gone to college. My boss, who was also my uncle, and my manager stopped by my apartment to tell me about a schedule change. They kinda barged in, and the first thing my straight-laced uncle saw was my bong and a bag of weed on my living room table. Oops, what the hell is that? Wahaha. It's a bong. Nephew. I've known for years you smoked pot. Just get to work on time tomorrow. Wahaha. Ducking guy. Still miss him. Got drunk a couple weeks ago. Came out on Twitter. Turns out both my parents somehow follow me. Anyways, it did not end well. Way back when in the year 2005 I did not own a cell phone. However, my friend did. I used his phone to send a D-pic to a girl who asked for it. I forgot to delete the photo. He was not the happiest to wake up to my D on his phone. I bought him dinner after the incident to make it even. In the olden days of MSN Messenger there was an add-on that would put what you're listening to as your status under your name. Realized too late that it also worked for videos. Years back, my girlfriend and I were getting a little heavy on the sofa. I was finger blasting away and then we headed to the bedroom to finish up. Days later her stepdad kindly asked us to ensure we try not to accidentally call them while going at it. My girlfriend's phone was in her jeans pocket and somehow dialed the last number as said finger blasting was happening. Her mother and stepdad answered the phone to lots of moaning and other unwelcome sick sounds. Mortifying. I first joined Facebook I think in 2007, which would have made me 11. Added my entire family first. Most of them were on FB too. Facebook suggests I send a greetings card to my friends to say hello or as a way to say hey I'm on Facebook or whatever. So it gives me a list of cards and there's this one with some old guy waving a finger, staring at the camera, and it's captioned stop being a cunt. 11-year-old me has no idea what this means but I thought it was funny anyway just because of the old guy so I take my entire family and send it. My mother wasn't happy about having to explain to my grandmother why I'd called her a cunt. A co-worker was cheating on his wife. The wife had screenshot a FB message conversation between him and the other woman, then posted the screenshot on Facebook and tagged a bunch of his female relatives. The conversation had him saying how he wanted to duck her, but she said something about having her period, and his response was something like how her blood was yummy and that he didn't mind blood clots on his cock. Yeesh. Accidentally forwarded nudes of a girl to my dad when I meant to send them to someone else. Not me but my uncle. One day on Facebook I noticed on the main feed that my uncle had posted a video not 5 minutes before. It involved big black cock. My uncle is openly gay and had been in a relationship for 30 years. So that's not the part that was surprising. The most awkward part was that he and his partner are both white. He's also over 70 BTW. I had to quickly send a private message politely explaining that a website had posted whatever he was watching onto Facebook without his permission. He said thanks and it was gone. I have no idea who else saw it. Gave my husband and 4 of our 6 friends a GI bug on a Hawaii vacation once. Sorry y'all. Was about 10. Had my first erection playing with a girl of similar age. I had no idea what my D is doing but it's making me feel all sorts of things about this girl. I approach my mum and whisper in my quietest voice, "Mum, something funny is happening to my willy. I think I'm in love with" insert girl's name. Apparently I was a loud kid because my quietest voice was loud enough for her and her parents to hear. This still haunts me 11 years later. Back when I wasn't living with my fiance registered sign and we were sweet 17, we spent time either at my parents' house where I was living or outside. So she came over and after eating dinner with my parents and siblings we headed to my room upstairs to watch a movie. We waited until my parents left and somehow I assume my sister left with them. Probably because I was horny as it. After a good makeout session we started doing the pounding in missionary style so that my blank ass faces the door. After 5 minutes I just hear the door open, turn around, with my ass still facing the door, and see my sister standing there in utter shock. She left. No words were spoken the next 3 days. When I was in high school my family all shared one computer. A friend of mine had died and my mom thought it'd be a good idea to investigate my history. So the one time I forget to clear my history I accidentally share all of the hardcore BDSM porn I'd been looking at. She was pretty weirded out but I just told her they were pop-ups, which she was quite eager to believe. Was super drunk a few months ago visiting home and was trying to convince my mom and stepdad that we should all go and do a few lines, telling them how great it was every time I've done it. They never brought it up after the fact but check in on me a lot more often now. Just asking how my day is and stuff. I was watching season 1 of Got with my sister's husband, my brother-in-law. Littlefinger had to deliver some boring exposition, so the showrunners decided to put some lesbian porn in the same room to make it more interesting. During that scene, my dad walked out of the den into the family room, looked at the TV for a few seconds, said "So this is Game of Thrones," and walked out. We were moving out of the house and my dad came to help us. It came to the mattress and I had forgotten about the large bondage straps under the mattress and on top of the box spring. We started moving it and my dad goes, "Hey, there's something under here." I knew immediately and said, "Step outside the room for a sec." I got it. He complied and acted totally cool about it. Didn't ask about it. Sadly threw it away because we moved abroad and didn't want to store it at my mother-in-law's. RIP limb stretcher 3000. Swine flu when I was 14. Got it at school. Sister got it next. Then mom. Then dad. Nude photos taken on my honeymoon were accidentally shared with my in-laws. My mum was watching TV with me on my bed once, and I just leaned a certain way which caused my pillow to start vibrating. I then had to investigate what the sound was, only to realize it was from my bullet vibrator I'd used the night before. We both played dumb, but we knew. She knew. I had sex with a girl at a high school graduation party, which was at a good friend of mine's. A few years later I'm over having drinks in his hot tub with him and some of his family, and I tell him about having sex that night, not knowing his mother can hear us over the jets. Turns out she found the condom and had told the whole family. So next thing I know I have everyone in the hot tub being like, "That was you?" And of course, since they were all drinking, they then wanted details. I was the family, not the sharer. My cousin's husband was showing me his iPhone which he had jailbroke, and he was showing me some pictures of their house he was remodeling. As he was swiping through the pics, boom, Manishat, my cousin laying on her back, legs spread, with a dildo in her pussy. We both looked at each other with an "oh, it" look on our face. I laughed but he didn't. His face turned red and he just walked off. I was trying to send a D-pic to my girlfriend and accidentally sent it to my 17-year-old little brother. All he said was, "Mine's bigger." Got free condoms from Gay Pride and free HIV clinics and maybe other places. Had a huge grocery bag full of them and for some reason forgot about them and left them on the kitchen table. Mom didn't like that very much. It's weird when you have a grocery bag of condoms you have to explain that they were free and you don't want to have sex all night etc. Awkward. I just now overshared with my friends in a group chat that I have been having bloody poops because I have hemorrhoids for the past 3 days.